plan specifically encourages mixed use on those pieces. Also, San Gabriel, their specific plan allows you to work with relatively small pieces of land, and that tells the developer that they are kind of serious about scene development. And I don't mean to slam Temple City, but in a city like Temple City along Las Tunas, they have a specific plan that allows mixed use. But I don't know how well you know Las Tunas and Temple City, those of you that work in that area. The ownerships of the properties are so fractured. You need 1 acre to do a mixed use over there. That's what the plan requires. And to get 1 acre, you may be dealing with 6 different owners. So to get, over 43,000, a simple 43,000 square feet of land is a lot of work. And then you don't know what you're going to get once you assemble those pieces, because some of the property owners may not want you to do a mixed-use project over there. But Temple City is, as you know, on the corner, was it Las Tunas and Roseby? They've got that big project plan over there, and that's definitely mixed use. Yeah. So, but in San Gabriel, they allow you to get the 3.0 FAR with as little as 22,000 square feet. So it's much easier working over here. Yes, sir?
Are there any issues that we should be aware of when it comes to subdivision of the land?
Well, as far as a real estate salesperson, or?
Because it becomes a condominium.
Yeah. Well, what a developer will do is when they buy a piece of land that they want to put residential on, they have to go through the subdivision process. So that's something the developer has to do. They have to get the final map on a piece of land before they can. They can sell it before they can start marketing it before they have the final map. But ultimately they're going to have to get a final map on the property. But it'll be zoned residential. It'll be zoned so you can do that. The area we're standing right here is zoned. Now it's zoned mixed. We're in the mixed-use transit corridor here, as we stand here in this auditorium, and there's a 3.0 FAR here. If a developer were to put units here, it would have to be subdivided. Okay, let's see. Anybody have any other questions? 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 Ben, yes, sir.
Are you familiar with Mission Meridian Village in South Pass?
No.
It's a 67 mixed-use development.
67 units?
Yeah. The developer was able to get a density bonus because he built a public garage. Are you seeing municipalities giving density bonuses for things like that and for senior housing? Or?
Yes, good question. Certain communities will grant you density bonuses if you do certain things that are felt like they're in the public good, such as this gentleman mentioned, build a parking garage, or build a park, or do other things that are, and it's even down to widen the street. That's typical. Sometimes they'll make you widen the street or pay for traffic lights and all that stuff. Yeah, that's very typical. So yeah, oftentimes cities are like, well, if you want to play here, you gotta put in some stuff that will benefit everybody.
Do cities like senior housing?
Senior housing, it's a very general question, but the general answer would be yes. Just the amount, if a city has a high number of elderly people, obviously they want affordable housing for them. So I would say to some extent, some cities are much more in favor of senior housing than others. Other cities want a different population demographic, I could say. But senior housing is something that's not going away. As you know, as we're all getting older, the demand for just regular senior housing, assisted living facilities will just boom. Yes?
How do they do the association, mixed use, like commercial and residential, the association?
Okay, that's a good question. Let's say we're dealing with a mixed-use condo and retail center, the developer has some choices. If he's doing residential condos, obviously he has to get a subdivision map for it. But the retail, he may not build as a subdivision. He may not subdivide it. He just may build it to lease. So he would not need to subdivide those units. Obviously, if he wants to sell them as retail condominiums, he would need to map that. The developer will place CC&Rs on anything that he maps, gets a subdivision map on. Yes, sir?
With the Valley Boulevard specific plan, do you have any idea that how many stories of it's work? I know it's just 5 stories or...
Yeah, well, I think it's 67 feet or 5 stories, whichever is less. Sometimes the economics of the project won't let you go that high. Because if you go a certain height, you're talking about a different type of construction, and construction costs are just out of control. So sometimes, even though if a plan will allow you to do something, the economics of the situation, economic realities of the project won't. But I think here in San Gabriel, I think it's 67 feet or 5 stories, whichever is less. No, it's for that's for the mixed-use transit zone, which has the highest FARs. Yes, all right.
When you mentioned that some developers will put in parks or public parking and so forth, along with those, a lot of times you have your private transfer fees being passed on to future buyers. Are we seeing a lot of that in this particular area?
That's a good question, and I'm not ashamed to say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I can try and find out the answer
I was just
for you.
wondering, because I know
Right?
it's a big thing in other parts of our state. I just hadn't heard of it being applied
Right here.
in parks.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't heard of it here, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Yeah. Sean.
What do we as realtors can do to take advantage of the bad or the panacea?
Well, I'm sure all of you come across properties. I see properties all the time that are kind of marketed by a realtor or broker as mixed use. And somebody may bring me something that says, oh, this is great for mixed use, right? And I'll look at it and I really don't know. And so as a developer, what I would look for in a piece of property and ask a broker that, you know, is presenting me a piece of property that really, if they're really high on it as far as a mixed use project, I would probably ask them, well, what's the allowable density? That's my first question. Because if it's a 20,000 square foot lot and I can only put, you know, at 20,000 square foot lot, and I can only put